Hello all, welcome back. Today we've got another package, and no, it's not a cartridge power washer, even though I could actually do with one of those right about now. Oh, and incidentally, you might remember this coffee table if you're a early viewer of the channel, as this was the first one I started filming on. Well, apparently I've got Felix Originals. Or probably not. Right, so we have, if you're in the arcade world, you'll know these as GD-ROM cases, and the first one we got is Wangan, is it Wangan? Midnight Maximum Tune for the Chihiro. No chip, but that's fine because my Chihiro doesn't work anyway. Triforce firmware update, again, without a chip, but the case is a bit shattered on that one. Oh, apparently there's no disc. What I really wanted to get is F-Zero AX GD-ROM for the Triforce. Now I have a working Triforce, I don't have a DIMM board for it, and I don't have a chip for this disc, but that's fine. The fact I've even got this is one of my grail moments, as it were, sorry. So, I'm just happy to have that, to be quite honest with you. But that's not all that's in here. That is a beast of a machine right there. But what kind of machine is this? Well, I'll give you a few hints. First of all, there's a Konami sticker, and there's the game number. While looking in MAME source code, we can find the same game number under the CF card label for Pro Evolution Soccer, and this is for the Konami Python driver. So yes, this is a Konami Python. It weighs a freaking ton. I'm not exaggerating. Has JAMA, it has JVS, also interestingly a serial port for, I think that's what it is, Konami's ACIO. I'm sure someone from the Banami community is going to correct me on that one. But this has a PS2 on the inside. Yes, you heard me right, it has a PS2. In fact, let's see if I can show you that. Of course, it's using Japanese screws, and I only have Phillips to hand. For those of you who aren't aware of the difference between Phillips or crosshead screws and Japanese screws, in Japan, when you have crosshead screws, they tend to be what is actually called Japanese Industry Standard or Industrial Standard screws, or JIS screws, and they look like Phillips screws or crosshead screws that we are used to in the West. However, they have a different angle on them, and they have a different depth to them, so it means that they tend to just not quite fit. I'm gonna take these side screws off. Forewarning, just so we're clear, I actually have no idea how you open this up because I've never messed around with one of these before. Yep, okay, so the front comes off, which seems to be just two screws to the side. Oh, let me make sure I don't keep that in there. Right, so the front comes off, and then, I guess I'll take the JVS adapter board off. I was hoping to just lift off the top, but apparently not. Good lord. Goodness gravy. It's bolted on there tight. Right, so this is the JVS adapter panel. And what this does is basically takes the JAMA and the extended I/O, and not only breaks it out to a JAMA connector, but literally just connects it up to the JVS interface. Yeah, it's got a H8 microcontroller on there, a Xilinx, is that a CPLD, or yeah, I'd say it's a CPLD. A few power rail stuff, and mainly it just seems to be converting, like I said, the JAMA inputs and the ACIO to the Python. Sorry, but that is a heckin' chunk of a machine right there. Now, if that doesn't look familiar to you, that is a square PS2 motherboard inside of a metal box on an adapter board. You can definitely tell it's a PS2 because you can see the Sony memory card right down there. Maybe that's been a bit disingenuous though, because this isn't particularly a PS2. It's a very specific version that Sony made. It's actually labelled as the COH hardware, or what I think is coin-op hardware. And whilst the specifications don't differ between the regular PS2 and the COH or coin-op hardware, what does differ is the fact that the Magic Gate encryption is different, and it obviously uses a different bootloader. And the way that these work is that when these boards start up, they'll try to boot from the first memory card, which is not too dissimilar to the PS2. But obviously the memory card itself has a very specific bootloader. And in the case of the Konami Python, this is a Konami Python 1, this bootloader will actually then try to load the game from compact flash, but over the iLink cable, which is attached down here and goes up to the front here. So a bit of an interesting system, and completely different to their Konami Python 2, which has got to get the award for the jankiest piece of arcade equipment I have seen from a major manufacturer. There's a PS2 inside of a box with a USB I/O board, and it turns it on using an IR blaster. So if that's not the definition of jank, you tell me what is the definition of jank. I will be having a look at this probably in a future date, but I want to mess around with it first. I think actually this is one of the few things that does actually work. I know, an arcade board that I own that does actually work. But yeah, just to give you a quick rundown, you got compact flash on the right, you got, what is that? Some kind of output. I'm going to assume that's audio output, if it's anything like the 573. Security plug for, well, it's security plug really, but not all games used it. Dip switches. Jammer I/O connector, and then you've got an extension I/O connector, status LEDs, line out, and network port. I'm assuming that's just standard 10/100 Ethernet. And like I say, on the inside, it's got iLink. It's got two IDE connectors. One is a 44-pin connector, one is a 40-pin IDE connector. And yes. And you might be able to see it, there's a heatsink component down there. I'm pretty sure that's a Toshiba TMPR 3000, which is basically MIPS R3000 like MCU, if I recall correctly. So quite a system there. And I reckon that these were quite expensive to manufacture. After all, Konami only shipped a few titles with this, and then they changed the board entirely to something completely different. Also, I must admit, PS2's got to be one of the most widely used arcade systems out there because, well, Sony offered kits like this. The Namco System 246, 256 were PS2s in a box, and even did the same with the PS3, such as the Namco 356. But there we go. Right, I got to put this back together now and go play with it really.
Oh, damn, I don't have any speakers connected.
Booting it up does reveal that it is in fact a Winning 11 arcade game, and if I plug in a JVS I/O board I can at least go into the game and play it, although admittedly quite terribly. And here's just a quick overview of the board once more, along with the PS2 memory card based security dongle, which really just has different encryption keys. Once again, thank you to all my current and future subscribers, and I'll see you again next time.